is there a spiritual reason for loneliness? I'm trying to think what made me ask this question in the first place. So I had this idea, I suppose, again from the same movie, where, yes, now I remember. It's from the same movie near the end, and the lady, the one who the main character falls in love with, she basically complains that she can't really connect with anybody. And then I thought about loneliness and what's the cause of loneliness and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, is there a spiritual reason for loneliness? And loneliness, of course, is a massive problem in the West. Even in maybe, let's say, religious communities where we've taken up some sort of materialistic habits, let's say. But anyway, so let me do my usual quote. And good and evil are not alike. Repel evil with which that is best, and lo, he between whom thyself and was enmity will become as they were a warm friend. Again, I forgot to do the translation from ancient Shakespearean English to modern English. It goes something like, good and bad are not the same thing, and fix the evil or get rid of the evil and badness by teaching wisdom, basically, that thing that is best, right? Okay. And you will find that soon, very quickly, that the hatred and bad feelings between people will turn people into people who are like warm friends. So that's kind of a modern translation. Okay. But then my comment, or why is that an answer to the question, is there a spiritual reason for loneliness? Okay, based on this quote, is loneliness comes from the evil of selfish societies. The only way to combat this darkness is the truth that God exists, and God expects us to be kind to all of his creation, including us human beings. So that's kind of the beginning of an answer. Let me just go into it a little bit. I'll just get them say one bit, because again, I've got a massively long answer. So I'm just going to say one bit, then you say what you think, right? Loneliness. Go on.
No, short and sweet. That's how you're gonna do it, aren't you? Short and simple.
That was my super short and sweet. The thing I just said, loneliness comes from the evil of selfish societies, basically, right? But then I'm going to do a medium short and sweet. Here goes. Loneliness is mysterious and can suck happiness into a dark and invisible emptiness in your soul. It's like a black hole for emptiness. I mean, for happiness, right? So if you're lonely, it just sucks out all the happiness in your life, right? Societies where people are controlled by the evil idea that life is about how important they can make themselves compared to others end up being in constant competition with each other. So if you think your life is about becoming important, and becoming important to who? Compared to what? Compared to other people. So if you think like that, you're basically in competition with other people all the time. And if you're in competition with other people all the time, guess what? You're going to be like enemies with each other. You're not really going to be friends. Yeah. So that you're going to just make distance between you and everybody else. Okay. And this is what atheism does. Atheism leads to loneliness for two reasons. One is this thing called nihilism, the idea that there's no point to everything. Like if there's no God, and everything is just going to disappear, and all your good work is just going to go and turn into atoms, and when you die and all this kind of stuff, so what's the point of making friends and being nice to people? That's one problem with atheism, right? Okay, so this kills any idea of, I don't know, creating a community or something like that, right? The other is that atheistic societies, in atheistic societies, there is no shared principle that tells us how to treat each other. Okay, so like in Islam, right, for example, and also in Judaism. So like in Islam, we say assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. That's the hello way, right? And it's not just that, we're supposed to not just say it to people we know, like everybody who's a Muslim, like you're supposed to Like, just say that, right? And at least you kind of make eye contact and say hello, and you smile, hopefully, when you say it, right? Okay. And that's actually the same in Judaism, by the way, just in case people don't know. They say, instead of saying assalamu alaikum, they say ashalom aleichem,
Yeah.
right? It sounds the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I've seen, I've been to a church, and even in a movie I've watched, right, when they went to a church, they say peace be upon you, which is the meaning of that, right? I mean, peace be upon you, right? So all these different religions actually have these beautiful ways of staying connected with each other, right? Have you ever watched the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
One of the main things about that movie, okay, was how they say hello to each other. It says, I see you. I don't know if you remember that. There's a beautiful song at the end of the movie called I See You, right? And it's basically, they really try to connect to each other when they say hello. They don't just say, how you do? Like when people say, how you doing? And even if you're miserable, you say, I'm fine. You know that thing, right?
Yeah, I
Right?
know. When
That
deep,
is
when you say not bad, but deep down you feel rotten.
exactly. That is not really connecting, right? So in the movie, they kind of made a point about this, right? The movie is kind of against our modern Western way of life, which is destroying the earth and not feeling connected to each other and just going for material things and not realizing the spirit between people. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the connection between people. And that's what a lot of that movie is about, right? So, and religion has a solution to it. It says, even if you split, like in Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, like, even if like you're walking together and then you're separated by a tree and you come back, say salam or peace be upon you again, because people, maybe that sounds silly, but people are really affected by really small things. Like, imagine I walk past you and I don't smile or I don't say hello. You're actually affected by that. You actually feel like you're not important. You feel like a stranger. But religion does the exact opposite. It treats everybody as they're all brothers and sisters. And it's not just brothers and sisters on this planet. It's like we're all children of God, right? Right? We're
Yeah.
children of God, right? Basically, God's creation, right? Okay. So when we die, we'll come back to life and we'll be brothers and sisters again. So it's not like this thing that just happens like atheists believe, right? So atheism creates loneliness is basically what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I've been doing a lot of talking. I don't know. Do you feel like saying something? Any opinions you want to share?
Well, atheism, to do with different religions and atheism, uh, I think it's materialism. That's what's killing society as a whole. And we become too addicted to certain things that, like for example, that's why where humanity is losing itself. You know, humanity is losing itself. Why we don't say hello to one another is a reason because, and if, as you said, and if you're going to give an answer and say, well, I'm not feeling too bad, but deep down you're feeling terrible, because but then again, what's the point of saying how you feel? Because at the end of the day, in Western society, nobody really cares how you feel. You know,
Hmm.
so
That's true because we're so bad at communication. We're not good at saying I love you and stuff like that. Like in Arab countries, they say I love you all the time, Habibi all the time. Have you ever heard people say Habibi? Do you know what that means? My
no,
love, basically. It's just like that's how people talk to each other, right? Okay. But and the reason why people don't do that anymore is because they're so just used to talking to phones or watching YouTube videos, but not really communicating anymore.
that's right.
And that's part of materialism.
It's part of materialism, and materialism is has taken over the West, and it's not just the kids; it's the grown-ups as well.
100%. And even so-called religious people have been like affected by it because if you live in a materialistic society for long enough, you can, without you knowing it, you can get affected by it a lot.
Mm.
So, yeah. Anyway, next one.